Ekioge gotiria Ekioge kende.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want just to welcome you to the Money Matters, and today we want just to talk about things that are concern what we call personal development, and we want to focus on money issues. And today we are joined with Chacha, Nyaigoti Chacha, who is going to speak to us, and he has written a very nice book that focuses on what young people between 20 and 30 should be able to know about money. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Sorobi, for welcoming me. It is really brilliant and great to welcome me to this show. As you've said, Chacha, Nyaigoti, Bichanga, not the Chacha.
Oh, sorry, I said Chacha, Nyaigoti, Chacha. Oh, yes, because of the famous Professor Chacha, Nyaigoti, Chacha.
Yes.
Yours is Chacha, Nyaigoti, Bichanga. All right.
Yeah.
At what?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, thank you so much.
Who are you? Probably that those people watching you for the first time, they don't know who is this.
Well, Chacha, Nyaigoti, Bichanga is, I call myself a student of life. I'm a personal financial coach. I'm a leader and an author of 2 groundbreaking personal financial manuals titled Mastering Your Money. There is one, a general guide for all age groups, and there is the latest one, the new kid in the block, one that was published in December last year, called Mastering Your Money for young people in their 20s and 30s.
Why are you focusing on 20s and 30s?
Well, this is a critical demographic age group. You find that we start with the 20s is the foundation stage. This is when somebody, for example, transit from secondary to college or university. By 25, one has graduated. One has finished maybe a diploma, a certificate, or as a degree. And one transits to the job market. So when we are talking about by the end of 21 has already had a job. By 30 one is settling down. One actually is, for example, in a stable job. One has maybe gotten married, settled down, started getting children. You realize when it comes to money matters, in the 20s, that's when the foundation is laid. That is when now one learns to spend, when one learns how to use the debt, when one learns how to invest, when one starts now struggling on how to make money, because money becomes one of the most challenging things in one's life, because the ordinary school system doesn't teach the students how to save, how to invest, how to use the debt wisely.
Thank you so much, Bwana Chacha. I remember you said that the first time you wrote a book about money, and what was the title?
It was Mastering Your Money.
Mastering Your Money.
A general, actually, guide.
It's a general guide.
Yes.
Why did you write the first book? You were talking about mastering money, but now you're focusing on young people. Why were you writing the first book?
Basically, I wrote the first book because of my personal experiences I had. Once I entered the job market, after working for around 10 or so years, I realized, I was having a lot of financial problems. I enrolled on personal financial courses. I entered into coaching programs. I started learning about money. In a period of 5 years of reading, intensive reading, attending workshops and seminars, consulting coaches and mentors, then it dawned on me that, I can write a book to also package the information that I'd learned into something that can actually give knowledge and skills to others. So I did that out of personal experiences, out of learning the other way, learning from mentors, learning from great books, and learning from the coaches and the financial programs I was attending.
I have read your book, Mastering Your Money, and I'm just wondering, you're spending a lot of time, a lot of your energy reading about money, writing about money, but you're a lecturer in the university and your focus is totally different. Why are you finding that you have a lot of weight in issues of money and not the core course of what you study and what you're teaching?
Oh, thank you. Actually, I didn't expect you to ask me that question, but it's a question that many people do ask me. Basically, my area of specialization is in linguistics. But I realized because...
And you're teaching at a university?
Yes, and I'm teaching linguistics at the university, by the way. But the subject of money or personal finance, I just developed a passion for it. When I realized, there are some things, some skills we learn outside there that we are not taught in school. For example, issues of about money. I realized, when one enters his career, starts working, no one tells him, what percentage of the money is supposed to save? Is it 10%, 20%? And how do you start investing? If it's a debt, at what time is it appropriate to go for a loan, to go for credit, right? Then I started well because of the personal problems I had, some losses, started businesses that were collapsing. I said, no, I need to learn what I was not taught in school. So I entered into personal financial. I was paying it myself. I read a book called Rich Dad Poor Dad by one Robert Kiyosaki. That is the book that opened my mind into a world of learning what we call self-education, life skills, soft skills. That is the book that told me you should invest in yourself. Pay to learn about, let's say, skills that were not like personal finance. So when I entered into that, I realized, well, even if I'm a specialist in language, there's something here that I can do and teach the world outside there. Wow. So I did it for my personal sake. Then later on, I realized when people are facing these challenges, I can try to offer certain solutions to them. So that is how the journey began.
Great. If you've not subscribed to our YouTube channel, kindly do that. Give us a comment, give us a like, and you can share, because what we are sharing here, these are some of the things that we never get to learn, even in our families or in our schools, and they're very critical. Now, can you tell me what are the 5 things that the young people are between 20 and 30 should be able to understand when we talk about money?
Okay, when we are talking of the 5 things that young people should do.
Probably you have more, but probably we can focus on 5.
But before we come to that, I have really taken time to interview young people. I've conducted interview with college students, and I've realized that they have certain problems that they face, money problems. And also, I've tried to come up with some remedies or solutions. Before I delve into that, I can now go direct to your question about the 5 things that young person needs to learn. One is about auditing one's lifestyle. Auditing means reviewing one's financial lifestyle. For example, knowing one's financial position. By that I mean, you should know, for example, your source of income. Okay? Are you getting income from a salary? Are you maybe getting it from business? Are you doing side hustles? And so on. You should actually know the total income that you get. That is part of the 2. Then you know how you spend this money that you get. So in other words, one should know the total income versus the total expenses. By auditing one's lifestyle, you should know the every shilling that you earn, where does it go, right? That is, one should have a record of the expenses on a day-to-day basis, without which you cannot tell, for example, how much do you use for transport. You should be able to know that, okay, you spend 100 shillings in a week, maybe you're spending, they say, 700 or 1,000. That one should go in record. If it is food consumption, how much are you spending in a week, in a month? If it is rent, if it's utilities, you should have a record of the expense on a day-to-day basis, so that by the end of the month, you have a financial statement. You know, okay, the total money I received from the various sources is this, and the expenses, now you have what we call expense items, we call vote heads. For example, if it is for upkeep, if it's for transport, if it's for household consumption, if it is for, you know, we have what we call black tax, giving others, extended family, okay, donations and so on. You should have that. If it is things you do as part of, let's say, charity and so on, a development project, you should have voted according to your needs, demands, and requirement. How do you spend on a day-to-day basis? So by auditing your lifestyle, you know where you are in terms of the total income you have and the expenses, right? So in other words, you can calculate your net worth.
So the first thing that a young person should be able to look at is, I must audit my finances.
Your finances, yeah. Auditing your financial life to know your financial position. You should know your true north. Yeah? Where are you? Your income versus expenses.
The second thing that you need to know?
The second thing that now, once you have done that, now you should do what we call now budgeting, right? So budgeting means you have a plan, a spending plan, how you will wish to spend your money before you earn it, before you receive it.
So you do your budget before you get the money.
You get the money.
So because when you know that this month I'm going to get this money, yes, you do your budget.
You do it before.
When the money comes, already it's budgeted.
It has a bearing, a direction. You know, money actually follows the direction you give it. So this budget is a spending plan, and we talk of a guide. There are various guides you can use. Like, for example, we talk of the 50, 20,
50 is for the
50 is for the necessary expenses.
the needs.
The needs, like the food, the transport, the utilities, and so on.
Yes.
And for the 20%, this is for saving. But I would say something that it does, that you don't need to stick to that only. Saving means actually 20% of the total income you get. If, for example, let's say you are getting 50,000 shillings as your total income, 20% of that is?
If you're getting what?
50,000 shillings.
50,000.
Yes.
And then 20% of it.
Yes.
Because 10% of 50
Yes.
is 10,000 is 5,000.
5,000. So that is now 10,000 now.
Now that is 10,000.
10,000.
Yes.
That one now you do what we call, you don't start with the 50%.
Yes.
You start with saving. You pay yourself first before
this
you
20.
spend. Yes. As you get the money, 20% channeled to the saving account. Could be saving an investment account, right? Before you start spending, right? Because if you
So
spend
if I earn 50,000,
10,000
to put 10,000 into
saving
savings.
account, according to the 50-20-30 rule,
Yes.
20%.
Yes.
Then you start with the 20, not 50. Then there is
Oh, I
yes,
start with the 20,
20.
the one which goes for the savings.
Yes.
Not the one that is going for the needs.
Yes.
So before I pay for my rent,
Yes.
before I pay for food and other things,
Yes.
I must pay. I must put money. I must remove money.
Yeah.
I must set aside money
Yes.
for savings.
Yes. The rule of the thumb is that you should always be singing, reciting, pay yourself first. I should pay
So
myself
the
first.
one I'm putting aside for investment, that is the money I'm paying. I'm paying myself.
For your information, that is the only money you are earning. The rest you are paying other people. You are building other people's industries. That is the only money you earn.
But is it practical?
Well,
In most cases, people are getting like 10,000. 10,000. If you are looking at 10,000, 10% is 20% is 2,000. So.
Sorobi, this calls for personal discipline, self-discipline. We are talking discipline, and the discipline, is a term that means a lot.
So which means I'm getting money and I'm not saving 20%, I don't have anything.
Yes.
I'm only getting money and I'm paying others, I don't have to pay
Yes,
myself.
and you lack self-discipline, and you don't love yourself. In simple terms, let me put it things the way they should.
You value other people,
Yeah.
you don't value about
Yes,
yourself.
and that is very unfortunate. Now, let's go to the 30%. 30%, okay, should go to the want. Wants could be things that we do. For example, you need a nice treat. You need maybe additional clothing, maybe additional shoes. You need now to do other things that make you feel good. That is now the necessary. Could be entertainment. Things that you could say want are unnecessary. Wants are things we don't need for us to live or survive on a day-to-day basis. Because the needs are the things that you need, without which you will not be alive. For example, food, shelter. You need that. You need the water. You need those things that make you run.
How do you run around with this calculation?
Well,
50, 30, 20.
Yes.
When you find that even the money for the 50 alone is not enough.
What we do, this formula I've talked about is a guide. It's not cast in stone. And you can vary it because our financial needs, demands are not the same. Right? Your financial needs, your financial demands are not similar to mine. What you look at your financial situation. When you have analyzed yourself, you have seen your financial position, you know where you are, and then you now see what needs to be done. This 50 is a guide, and you can adjust this formula. For example, 30%, because you say you should not actually enjoy your tomorrow now. Yeah? You should actually deny yourself something today so that you gain tomorrow. You actually spend your today tomorrow, not spending your tomorrow now.
But some people, they live very, very miserable lives.
Well,
you are thinking about the future,
yes.
but right now you are suffering and you never even get into that future.
Well, really, we are saying, we understand that we face various challenges. But what we are saying is that now you can adjust the 30%, you can reduce it either to 10 or 20, bring it to saving, right? Even this 50%, suppose you may find you're a person who you don't have many expenses, you don't have a family, for example, you are not paying school fees for anybody, maybe sometimes you are not paying rent, you are staying, or you are paying rent which is lower, so you may not need to spend the entire 50% on needs or necessary expenses. You can reduce it to 40. When you reduce it, it's helping you save more. Yes, you can adjust this percentage, even the saving you can increase from 20 to 30, right? So that you can adjust, you reduce maybe 50 to 40, or reduce the one for 130 to 20. So this one is not cast in stone. You have to see your needs. Look at also your age group. Like I'm talking of the 20s and 30s. If somebody has gotten a good job in the 20s, maybe heading to 30s, right? By good job mean this job is stable, it can meet the basic needs. One should save more, right? Why should you save more when you are young? Because when the expenses come, when you settle down, there's a family, school fees to pay, health, and so on, you may not save more. So, for example, saving 30% for somebody with now a stable job is easier, or with a stable business is easier. But somebody who is hustling here and there, it can be quite an issue. Like somebody who is not getting regular, maybe money from business and so on, side hustles, that can be an issue. Maybe somebody gets money once, that one can now plan according to the needs, the demands, and the kind of money is receiving. So this varies. What I'm saying is not cast in stone. We are not here to prescribe what should be strictly followed, but what should guide you, right? Yeah, that is now we are talking about budgeting, and that is actually the second pillar of mastering your money for young people, right? I don't know whether you have a question, another from there.
Ekioge, Ekioge, Ekioge go tiria, Ekioge kende.